The man, the myth, the legend.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, what's going on?
David Dodge the younger, not the founder.
The younger. We're the younger generation. How did you feel when your dad was like, so I'm going to be making ski boots and we're going to be making them in the basement for the time being?
Not honestly that surprising. Always been some form of tinkering going on in the basement. And I always, found out about things mostly after I found some random part somewhere. It was never really any announcement that I'm going to be making boots. It was more that I opened a dishwasher and there are a bunch of boot parts in
it. Dad, you want to tell me something here? Like, I go for a pull and I get a lower shell.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how it's always been. He actually had been working on kind of a project for a while, I think way back when, before the company was even founded. He was looking at some carbon fiber with Lang, maybe Herman Meyer or something skied on it. So I'd seen some kind of beginnings of the idea, but when the actual product came out, I think, well, I was really excited to try it. I don't think it was a huge announcement or anything. It's like, I made this. Let's see how well it works. The lightness is definitely huge. I feel like I can use them in a lot of different ski environments. So from, racing to in the woods, moguls, backcountry touring a bit here and there. They really excel because of how light they are. And then I find the consistent flex a huge advantage with them, something I can rely on. I know what every turn is going to be like when I go into it. So those two are huge. For me, the fit has always been really good with them, but they're really modifiable. They're some of the more comfortable boots I've ever worn. So I think, those three are kind of my top ones. Carbon fiber also, has really efficient power transfer. So just, the acceleration and kind of precision in the turn is really unparalleled. And so when you compare it to a plastic boot, some of the boots I sometimes use for ski touring, it's just night and day. It's it skis so much better. And it's so much more powerful and fun.
Yeah, I have to say one of my favorite videos that we have is the one that you did with Elliot Wilkinson Ray, the waterfall shot where you hooked the waterfall and just dive bombing through the woods. It was like,
that was a blast. And yeah, I was just skiing, I'd never done any kind of filming before, but I never thought I'd huck that waterfall underneath the gondola, but there was enough snow at the bottom of it. I figured, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, and you have that one nasty picture of you just arcing a turn, hip in the snow with the gondola right above you. It's like, this is the Stowe picture.
That was pretty iconic. Yeah, you have to give props to Tyler for figuring out all the angles. Yeah, it was fun to do that. There's so many different types of skiing that I like, but if I were doing resort, just trying to get that power, acceleration, best feeling ever, that turn pop and everything that you kind of, look for when you're racing, I would go to Sun Valley and rip some of those incredible groomers that they have, that 2000 plus vertical. And yeah, I'd probably be on not quite a GS ski, not quite a slalom ski, but kind of somewhere in between, obviously the Dodge boot, and yeah, just rip all the way down into town on a perfect bluebird day. I think that would be kind of my final request.
It's funny, Warner said the same thing.
Oh, really?
I believe he said the same place. He was like, oh yeah, Sun Valley.
Yeah, it's pretty easy decision there. For me, since I do a lot of backcountry skiing now, when I'm not, I do race coach. I'm always on, the Dodge boot then, but when I do some of these backcountry races that I've gotten into, the Dodge boot doesn't have like a walk mode, so it's just not as easy going up. The boots that I do use for these races are pretty not fun to ski, but they are quite efficient on the uphill. If the Dodge boot, had pin inserts and a walk mode, I'd probably still be using it. But as it is, it's more downhill oriented. But I have a frame binding backcountry ski that if I'm going for shorter tours, I love to take out because it's just so much more fun to ski downhill in the Dodge boot, and also in a more secure binding. So. One of the first times that I took the Dodge boot on like a really big Western trip, hit a lot of different areas, Montana, Wyoming, and then we made a push up to British Columbia and skied in this area called Rogers Pass. And this was the very first boot that I had. The whole scenery and the touring was kind of blowing my mind. And just to be able to do that on this homegrown product from Vermont. I remember, I had some friends take a bunch of pictures, just of the boot kind of out in this, crazy environment. That was just pretty special to get to experience that. And then also share the experience of being on the boot, with my dad. And it was just a really neat place to find myself in the boot. I also think about, though, just kind of for a contrasting experience, coaching at the first school I taught at in Connecticut. We were kind of on the Connecticut-Massachusetts border. And so we trained and raced at this little area called Butternut. I convinced my other coaches, there were three of us, to get Dodge boots. And so we were just this little Dodge boot family in the northwest corner of Connecticut. Two probably favorite places where I remember, like being on the boot.